Halloween. Thank you for taking this training class and taking this important step to building a better business. It all naturally starts with you understanding the basics of record keeping. I will do a little bit of housekeeping as it was alluded to before. My name is Kathy Jawiziak. I work with Wintrust Bank. I have been a branch manager for the last 25 years in various locations throughout the city and look forward with engaging with you today. I will pass this messaging along to my colleague here who's joining me today so he can introduce himself.
Yeah, thanks, Kathy. Hello, everyone. Great to be here with you today on this Friday, Halloween Friday. So my name is Joel Lefkowitz. I'm a business banker here with Wintrust. Been with the bank for about 6 years, in banking for 18 years overall. So yeah, worked with businesses, quite a few over the years, and seen some businesses that are very well organized, and maybe they attended these seminars and learned a few things along the way. And then some other businesses that I've seen that could definitely use some help. And I think records keeping is really important for many small businesses. And Kathy and I are going to go into that today during the presentation. So I'll hand it back to you, Kathy.
Sounds great. Thank you so much. Could we please move the slide to the one more, please? Great. So we have our objectives for this morning highlighted here. So after completing the training that we're delivering today, you're going to be able to explain the concept of record keeping and the importance for every small business, identify record keeping practices, respective rules, and tools that are commonly available to all the small businesses, explain how record keeping practices, rules, and tools work, and be able to identify benefits a small business derives from proper record keeping, and there are many. Explain record keeping basics for small businesses and identify software products available for small business record keeping. And again, this is an ever-changing landscape with the software products that are available out there for small businesses. So we'll highlight some of those for you. Okay, well, let's get into our introduction here. So term record keeping refers to the orderly and disciplined practice of storing business records. Record keeping is one of your most important responsibilities as a small business owner. And it is definitely linked to the success of your business, depending on creating and maintaining an effective record system, whether your business is a sole proprietorship, partnership, or a corporation. Great record keeping allows you to identify trends in your business. It also makes it a lot easier for you to apply for financing when your business needs it. So it's definitely something that is really very important for small business owners. So you're thinking to yourself, well, what is record keeping really? Record keeping ranges from very simple methods such as manila folder filing systems to complex online electronic systems. Whether simple or complex, a record keeping system must be easy to use and provide adequate storage and retrieval of records. And ease of use, I would say, is one of the most important things, because if you don't know how to use it, or it's complicated, you're not likely to use it successfully. And most importantly, it must be suited to your particular business needs. The type, the size, complexity of your business, as well as your business available resources will help to determine the record keeping system best suited to you and your business. For more information on record keeping, you can also visit the website sba.gov and also look for record keeping should you have additional questions after the webinar today. So let's go ahead and go to the next slide. Personal record keeping. As a business owner, you should also establish an effective record keeping system for your personal information. For example, when applying for a business loan, a lender may want to consider your personal records, such as your financial statements for your personal checking, savings, and other personal accounts that are tied to you and your business. And so you say, why are record keeping that important? So you have to keep in mind that you have to fulfill certain responsibilities. And one of those responsibilities is legal. There's also regulatory requirements dependent on the business that you're in. Um, and record keeping, again, as I alluded earlier, is really important to understanding your business, where your business is right now, and where you want your business to be in the next few years. So again, reasons why you should keep good records: detailed tracking. It gives you the opportunity to do great planning. Also keep you legally in compliance, and then your tax preparation for federal, state, and local taxes is really primarily very, very good for your business to keep it rolling. I will go ahead and kind of highlight each section here in more detail. So when we look at detailed tracking, owning a small business will require you to track a significant amount of information, right? So as you're looking at your customers, sales, and inventory, without a proper record keeping system, you may lose sight of important business details, leading to problems with serving your customers. If you do not know the details about your customers, such as who your customers are, what your customers like, your business may not be able to meet business demands or your buyer demands. You risk disappointing your clients, maybe losing that customer forever. Staying informed of your customers, their orders, inventory, to provide for their purchases is extremely challenging. Without a proper record keeping system, tracking important details of your business may be really, truly an impossible task. When we look at planning, right? So if you want your business to grow and stay around and go into the future without proper record keeping, it's very hard to ensure that that business will be successful. Proper record keeping helps to plan your business's future, truly. How does a business owner who failed to track his customers determine inventory needs for next quarter, the year, or even longer? So for example, if you own a clothing store owners must anticipate the need for inventory throughout the course of the year. There's naturally different seasonal cycles and requests from your clients of what they would like to see in the store and ultimately purchase. By knowing if and when your inventory is needed, you can anticipate the need to finance the inventory. You can also avoid carrying too little or too much, such as extra swimsuits, for example, into the fall season, or winter clothes going into spring and beyond into summer. Also, from a legal perspective, you want to make sure that you are in compliance as an owner. You will likely have to execute certain contracts and be required to hold certain licensing and permits. And as an employer, you will be required to maintain and report employee payroll for tax purposes. So these are very important to keep organized so that you have access to it when you need it. Going into like contracts and leases and other agreements that you have as a business owner, it's really important to have a good system for maintaining these contracts. Most business owners sign contracts for services, for sales, financing, if you have a retail space, for leasing, and of course, if you're purchasing things from other vendors, you will have a contract for that as well. So it's really crucial to store these in a manner that you will be able to refer back to them. You may also need to refer to these activities and contracts as such activities are executed. If you're doing landscaping, again, you have employees, machinery, equipment that you're purchasing. You want to be able to take a look at those things and see what needs to be done with it over time. And of course, you also want to protect yourself as a business owner. So you want to make sure that you keep track of all the contractual obligations that you have by always maintaining originally signed copies of all legally executed contracts that you have signed. And then if we're taking a look at licensing and permitting, local, state, and federal and international governments require various specific licensing and permits. Some business activities require a license or a permit. Licensing and permitting examples is like a city business license. If you're a sole proprietor, you may have a doing business as statement that you receive from the city. If you're selling things, you may have to apply for a seller's permit. And of course, if you have a home occupation, you may be sharing that with your accountant. So there's permits for that. And of course, if you're in the hospitality industry or food industry, you will need permitting for food preparation. So you want to make sure that you have these things readily available to you. And of course, if you are an accountant or an architect or a building contractor, you will also require licensing for that. So you just want to make sure that you check in with the government agencies and various professional associations that govern your line of work to ensure that you have appropriate permitting and licensing. Once you have these licenses and permits for your business, you may be required to show these from time to time during inspections by the city. So you want to make sure that you can access that. Contractors may be required to show proof of insurance. So establishing your business with a good system for maintaining and regularly renewing licensing and permitting documents to protect the business from penalties or fines is really important. And you can really only do this effectively if you have this stuff stored in a manner that is easy for you to reference and also give yourself reminders that these things need to be renewed every year or every couple of years, dependent on what industry you are in. And then, of course, one of the other things that you have to think about too is your payroll and your personnel that you are hiring. So if you hire employees, record keeping capacity really needs to be advanced enough to comply with various local, state, and federal payroll and personnel requirements. So depending on the number of employees that you hire, you may require a payroll service. I will tell you that this is worth every dollar that you spend on because they will take care of all of the legalities that are required. They will also keep track of everything for you, and they will also issue all of end of year statements. Sorry, a bit of a tongue twister there. Otherwise, if your record keeping and accounting capacity is still developing, consider hiring an independent contractor or maybe hiring an employment agency to get assistance with this. There's a brief list of some of the payroll personnel and legal information that you can get. So help with. So hiring and evaluation documentation, basis on which your wages are paid, social security numbers, total hours worked, total wages paid each pay period, withholding for your employees. These are really important records that you need to maintain for your staff when you have them. So again, payroll and personnel record keeping can be very extensive. So if you are a new employer or you're hiring people, I would definitely recommend speaking to a professional payroll service just to see what they would be able to offer, or a local accountant that would be able to assist you with this. Keep in mind that federal, state, and local taxes are required for your employees, so you want to make sure that this is done properly. Okay. So can we go back one more slide, please? So business operations and tracking details. I'll speak a little bit about this particular slide. As a business owner, you will be required to track a significant amount of information, right? Such as information we have already spoken about. So it's really crucial that you don't lose sight of important details for your clients. If you do not know the details about your customers, such as who your customers are, what your customers like, your business may not be able to meet the buyer demand. You risk disappointing a customer and maybe losing that customer forever. Staying informed of customers, their orders, inventory to provide for their purchases is really challenging. And without a proper record keeping system, tracking important details of your business are really almost impossible. And remember, your clients are the lifeline to your business. They have many options today. So you want them to always have the best experience with you, with your staff, and your business. So don't risk losing them. Make sure that you're keeping records of what your business needs to operate smoothly. And if we can go ahead and go to the next slide. Does anyone have any questions? No? Okay, great. For record retention, this we will go ahead and cover again why this is really important. And this kind of goes back into the time cards, contracts, and inventory. So not only should small business owners keep good records, but owners should also know which of those records to retain and for how long. Record retention is the practice of keeping business and personal records over time. Good retention is in the best interest of every company. A poor system of retention will prevent managers from retrieving information, which is needed to make a sound business decision. Poor record keeping retention system also poses a security risk to your business. And this table kind of highlights those, right? So a sample of records to keep for how many years. Total internal revenue, IRS determines some record retention guidelines. Other retention requirements are legal in nature, such as what may be required by contract with those you do business with. So expert recommendations will vary here. Also, retention schedules vary by region. For example, a state may have a different statute of limitation for legal liability, such as lawsuits. So check with your attorney for legal requirements and your accountant for financial related requirements. So as you see here, time cards, for example, are required to be kept for 2 years. Payroll is required to be kept for 6 years. Invoices and receivables are required to be kept for 5 years. So this is quite a demanding record keeping timeline. And because it varies, that's why we were saying or suggesting that it really is worth sometimes to pay for a service or such as, for example, Paychecks that does payroll to maintain these records for you. So you don't have to worry about being able to track back and how long you have to keep. So I think this is really quite useful. Anyway, I will pass the baton to my colleague Joel, and he will cover the next slides with you.
Yeah, thanks, Kathy. And I noticed that we have a couple questions in the chat as well. So one is just how do you gather customer records? What are some examples? Thanks, Bobby. And then the other one was, do you have a format or layout to help with that? Which I think is also referring to how we gather records, but you can correct me if I'm wrong. And you have good timing with that question because I'm actually about to cover that here in the next couple of slides. So I will continue on here with how to keep some of those record keeping tools. So, it's really important to start your business with a simple record keeping system. As your business grows, expand your record keeping system to accommodate more records and increasing complexity. As you're starting out, it might be something simple, maybe just a simple filing system with paper. But as you grow, it's going to be very important to stay organized. This is kind of a tangent, but I always give my dad a hard time. He's a business owner and, he's a lawyer and he's just kind of old school, always kept paper records. And when I've ever gone into his office, it's just like piles and piles of folders and, there's cabinets. And it's just, to me, it just creates a lot of stress. So I think he's somebody that could benefit from this presentation and, maybe work on moving some of those to like a cloud-based system or on the computer. But, again, as you're starting out, paper filing system is completely fine. As long as you have a system, that's what's most important. So for a file folder holds loose papers together for organization and protection. File folders can easily be purchased at office supply stores. You can label the file folders based on what is inside by writing directly on the tabs or by writing on adhesive labels that are placed on the tabs. Many of us are probably familiar with this method. I think we probably did this in school at one point. Another option is a hanging folder. You can use hanging folders to group several file folders together. So for example, a hanging folder might be labeled clients to contain number of individual client folders. There's cabinet storage. That's where you can put your hanging folders, and you can also lock the cabinet when not in use. So it's very important to keep, these records secure. Um, Now, I also, even like, if you can get like a fireproof filing cabinet system, and then if everything's on paper, that is a risk of, if there's a fire, of losing all of that. So, I would encourage you to look for, if you're doing a paper filing system, seek out those fireproof options. That'll give you that extra layer of security. There's an accordion folder. An accordion folder opens like an accordion on top to reveal compartments for storing documents. Each compartment can be labeled, and accordion files are designed to store documents without a filing cabinet in a closet or a shelf. Um, so you can move the slide forward, please. And one more time. There we go. So you can also use a tickler system. Many business owners use a method sometimes called a tickler system for remembering upcoming events. Uh, some examples of these events could be quarterly taxes, license renewals, insurance reviews and renewals, upcoming bills, any callbacks you need to make. All of those, examples are very important to stay on top of as a business owner. And then another option is, if we move the slide forward, is computer systems. So while most businesses will need, one more slide, please, move forward. While most businesses will need to maintain some form of paper-based record keeping, computer-based systems are becoming more the norm. So, once you get to that stage, you can implement a computer-based systems over time as you become more comfortable with computers and record keeping. With computer systems, your records will take less space and can be transmitted over the internet. Many businesses and government agencies will allow you to purchase goods, apply for licenses, and pay fees over the internet. So remember, back up computer system records to separate hard drives daily at a remote location if possible. And then there's also kind of, even to take the next step, if we go to the next slide, is cloud computing. This is where a lot of organizations are going. As an alternate or to supplement paper-based and computer systems, one more option is becoming increasingly available: cloud computing. You use cloud computing to store, manage, and process data on the internet, rather than using a local personal computer. The advantages of cloud computing are that, number one, you don't need to install software upgrades. Number two, you're less likely to lose your data because of computer crashes. And number three, you can access your information, such as financial information, for any location that has access to the internet. And the more comfortable you are with computers, software, and the internet, the more you should explore cloud computing for your business record keeping. The following section is going to describe two examples of services provided by cloud computing, accounting, and file hosting. All right, so we can go to the next slide. And Kathy, I'm going to hand it back to you if you want to
Sounds
continue
great.
on with cloud computing.
Thank you. So some accounting software companies offer their products with online accounting options instead of buying software, which runs on your computer. You pay a monthly fee to use an accounting service on both the internet. The software processing and financial data storage, both of which reside on the accounting company server, are provided over the internet. So a great example of such a software is QuickBooks, for example. Is anyone using QuickBooks right now, or any other software to kind of marry with their banking applications for ease? Oh, QuickBooks, okay. Yeah, this is one of the ones that we find are mostly used by many, many customers that we work with. It's popular software. Oh, Zero. Okay. How was your experience with Zero? Yeah, so I definitely encourage folks to take a look and see, which accounting software works best for them. QuickBooks, like I said, it's the most popular, but there are others out there, and they vary in range from a pricing perspective. And you can either use QuickBooks and have the software on a monthly subscription, or you could actually buy the software and download it. So you don't have to pay the monthly subscription. So it's just a preference. Thank you so much, everyone, for participating. So if we could go to the next slide, please. So cloud computing and file hosting. If you use your computer files in your business, you can store and share those files with colleagues and clients using an internet file hosting service. The files can be made accessible from any location with access to the internet by multiple people. You can use file hosting to archive large amounts of data. Both free and fee-based hosting services are available. So I will give an example here. One of the ones that we see many clients utilize is called Dropbox. So I'm not sure if there's any folks on here that are already engaged in their business and are file hosting. You're welcome to naturally share what is out there, but Dropbox is really a popular one. And if we can go to the next slide, that would be great. Business software, regardless of whether you use a computer system, whether you use cloud-based computing or a combination of the two, you will need to think about business software to help keep your records. And you can certainly take a look on Google and see what works out there for you, and what software would be best for your business and what is specifically suited to the industry that you are operating in. And it's really quite easy. All you have to do is just type in software options plus whatever industry you are in, and there's going to be a gamut of options that are available to you. Great, so if we can go to the next slide. Business software and evaluating your business needs. When choosing the software, it's truly a good idea to determine your particular business needs. Businesses can be retail or wholesale. They can be service or product based. They can be one person operation, or a large establishment with employees. They can be housed naturally in a commercial space, or they can be based at home. So I would strongly encourage you to do your research to make sure that the software you purchase matches your business need, the type of business that you are running, and specific size. And also consider factors such as the ones we're going to highlight below for your business. So there's a point of sale system integration that you can do, which is used for retailers online or retailers in person, where people are coming in and purchasing from you. There's also an inventory tracking software. There are many online options. Naturally, if you're producing or making things, you can have a manufacturing-based option. And then there's e-commerce options that are available for various software options. And then there's industry specialization options, and then multiple users. So if you have employees that are getting into the software, you want to make sure that they have access just to the pieces that they need to have access to, and maybe not the entire thing. So it's really crucial to kind of take a drive on these software applications, ask a lot of questions, and make sure that what you're selecting works for your business and your industry. And there's, like I mentioned before, so the things that you want to keep abreast of and be informed about are the type of business you have, if you need inventory software, online sales, manufacturing, or if it's something that's very specialized. So let's go ahead and break this down, right? So let's look at the inventory software. Businesses with inventory requirements use software programs that will effectively track inventory purchases and sales. Accounting programs have inventory tracking features. So study the inventory capacity of the software you are considering to see if the capacity will meet your needs now and going into the future. So you don't have to change the software you're using. Online sales, many businesses sell products online and they are either using an internet site, for example, like eBay or Amazon, or a dedicated business website. Some accounting programs can access business online sales information. So be sure to investigate if the software you are considering will work with your system for online sales. It's always nice to have that integration so that you can have one software versus many for various tasks. And then looking at manufacturing, if you are manufacturing a product, I recommend investigating the inventory features of your business accounting software to see if the software will work with the manufacturing processes that you have. And if you're looking at specialized software packages, because your business has very unique needs, I would make sure that you're looking at industry specific software. So software in this category usually has much more capacity and can be customized to fit a business's unique needs. Due to the customization, specialized software tends to cost a little bit more and will require training. So you want to make sure that the vendor you're working with is going to be able to provide that so that you understand how to access all of the features that are highlighted and you know how to use them. And then, of course, if you're planning on having your team use it, you want to make sure that they also will have that support line. So if they need help, they can get it. Let's go ahead and go to the next slide. So business software, of course, one of them also entails email, right? That's mostly how we communicate today. So I'm sure that many, if not all, are familiar with using email. Email has become a significant way of doing business today, more common than regular mail in many cases, of course. Most business owners communicate with clients, employees, you name it, suppliers, vendors, contractors, using email. So keeping a good filing system for your email communication is just as important as keeping a good paper-based system if you're choosing to do paper. Most email services are going to allow you to create files within your email box, just as you would if you were keeping files in your cabinet, like Joel had alluded to earlier. So it's just a matter of, creating the files and being able to label them so that you could reference back. You can manage your email on the local computer hard drive. Many email service provide a web mail client as part of their internet service package. As with any web applications, the main advantage of your web mail over the use of a desktop email client is the ability to send and receive email wherever there's a web browser. The main disadvantage of webmail is the need to be connected to the internet while you're using it. And we can go ahead and move on. Of course, spreadsheets are also something that many of our clients utilize. And you can use spreadsheets for client information, inventory, timesheets, scheduling, budgeting for your business, and many other reasons why spreadsheets would work for you. A spreadsheet is a computer application that simulates a paper accounting worksheet, essentially. The spreadsheet will display multiple cells in a two-dimensional grid consisting of rows and columns. Each cell contains text, numbers, formulas, and spreadsheets are frequently used for projections or for financial what-if scenarios, because a spreadsheet will recalculate automatically after a change to a single cell. So this is really useful if you're trying to determine your trends or trying to project where you're going to be in the future. Many of our clients utilize some form of spreadsheet software, Excel being one of the ones that are most popular. So if we're going to the next slide, we can certainly take a peek at the accounting. software. So if you're starting your first business, you will quickly find out how important accounting software is to the success of your business. Accounting software is going to keep track of your financial records, such as your sales, expenses, inventory, and your assets. The software delivers many advantages over manual systems. It will help you execute, manage, and track your critical financial transactions as they are related to all of the financial activities of your business. Accounting software will duplicate the function of a manual system and it reduces human error. So it's really crucial to use some form of accounting systems. Financial numbers are accurate because most of the calculations are done automatically. There's, no reason to create errors if you can use a system to do it for you properly. So you're not going to see, numbers of, I don't know, a lot of times people will pick up a 3 versus a 4 just because of the way they key things, or any other human error will be eliminated if you're using accounting system. Plus, it can also track everything for you year over year or quarter over year, so it's really helpful. Small business accounting software is also going to organize your financial information that's easy for you to access. If you want to know if a certain bill was paid, accounting system should be able to tell you not only when the bill was paid, but the check number and other details such that are quick and easy to access without having to call the bank and find out whether or not something has cleared. So it just saves you a lot of time and a lot of headaches in most cases. If you lose an invoice or a bill, information for sending duplicate invoices or bills can be found within the program as well. So it's just really easy to be able to do something quickly. Accounting software, in most cases, is affordable and it really does provide great value. There may be some additional costs for training. If there are, you should ask those questions up front so that you know what that is. And if you're hesitant to get new software because your computer is old or unreliable, I would definitely recommend considering using online versions of that software. And don't forget how much time and effort you will save in tax preparation every year once your information is organized by a computer system versus manually trying to track this stuff in folders or in, like some people still just have cabinets that they store the stuff in. Sometimes they put everything in that cabinet, sometimes they don't. So it's really quite tough to organize that stuff to prepare your end of year numbers for yourself, your business, and of course your staff. So generally, as you buy more sophisticated and expensive accounting systems, they will provide different things to you, such as memory volume, inventory sophistication, mobile functions, so you can kind of access that information on the go from your phone. Or if there's specific industry-related reporting that you need, you'll be able to do that with sophisticated software. So as we move on to the next phase of our presentation here, I'm going to pass it along to Joel and he'll cover the rest.
Thanks, Kathy. Yeah, it's just funny as you're going through the presentation, it just reminds me of like even in banking, I mean, just how we've shifted everything to more of a cloud-based filing system. But I remember working in the branches and seeing we had multiple boxes of files like stored away because we had to keep retention for at least 7 years with many of our legal documents, and it's just like it kept piling up in the basement, and it just eventually it just seemed like outdated. And so yeah, we've done a lot of work as a bank to move everything to a cloud-based system. So even large organizations like Wintrust, where we work, have had to make those changes and kind of get with the times as your organization grows. But yeah, I mean, kind of to continue on with the presentation, we're going to go into, more about your accounting system. And before I start, I just was curious if anybody wants to leave a comment in the chat. Does anybody have any best practices or anything with what they're currently doing, how they're tracking their accounting? How are you tracking your accounting system? How could you improve it? should you add something to improve your payroll processing? Anything that maybe comes to your mind, don't hesitate to put that in the chat. I think it's helpful as a group to kind of just see what other businesses are doing right now too. And I always like stealing best practices from other people that are doing something well. So as you're thinking of those items, I'll continue on with business software training. So when you choose to use business software, be sure to get trained in its use. You want to make sure that you can use all of its capabilities. Training will make you more efficient and more effective in the use of the software, both of which will save you time and money. So take advantage of the options available for training, such as tutorials, free trials, and online training. Here are a couple ideas for learning how to use accounting software. So tutorials and free trials, are a good way to get started. Most, if not all, accounting software programs offer tutorials and free trials to help you learn and sample the program. I put a couple links in there that you might want to check out too. We talked about, we referenced QuickBooks and Xero, Dropbox. So, after the call, maybe check out those links, go there and see if they offer a free trial. So again, if you visit the website, you can probably do that. When you download the trial software, the program will have a tutorial built into the program that will describe the software features. It shows you how to set up your company and how to use basic functions. Online software training and webinars. So many websites offer software training and webinars, and they use online search engines. So type the name of a software product along with words like tutorial or training. Everybody kind of knows how to use Google these days, so give it a shot. You can sample a few training options to see if any of the training programs work for you. Some training options are free, others charge a fee. Some training options are self-directed, and others have training options which are run by a teacher in an online classroom setting where you can ask questions and listen to student discussions. I mean, it even brings to mind, again, kind of reference back to the bank here at Wintrust. I mean, we have very similar systems in place. When we have new business customers to the bank, we have both self-directed tutorials for online banking that you can access through our website. You can also take a tutorial, with our treasury management services. And as you support team, and as you if you add treasury management services, we have a team that reaches out and sets up like a 20-minute training on how to use the different services that you're enrolling in. So that training is always really important. So don't just think that you're on your own and need to just try to figure it out. There's a lot of options and resources out there for you as you make your decision on what you're going to use for your business. YouTube is another great resource. Video sharing is just becoming bigger and bigger. Everybody's doing these DIY projects at home now because they can just go to YouTube and learn how to do it. Same thing with your tracking system. So there's many different recordings of accounting software training. All of these training videos are free. So you can search for a trainer that appeals to you. In some cases, trainers will offer a few free videos on YouTube, but then they charge a fee for a full training course on their website. Community college are also a great resources. So, if there's a community college near you, you can check them out. Many community colleges provide business and computer courses. You can learn how to use a computer software program, take an entrepreneurship course, or learn accounting. Some community colleges offer short-term courses geared to business owners. Other colleges offer courses designed for those seeking a certificate or an associate degree. You can find a community college near you at kind of a long one, but it's aacc.nche.edu/pages/ccf /ccfinder.aspx. You know what? It's probably easiest if Kathy can copy that into the chat for me. But community colleges list their course offering on their websites. You can also call registration or their counseling departments to get more information on course offerings and enrollment. SCORE is another great resource. SCORE is great. We kind of partner with them through the bank too, especially for newer businesses. I know that SCORE has, you can enroll for free to partner up with a mentor. And these mentors are former business owners and CEOs that are just willing to give their time to help new business owners or even existing businesses grow. They can help you with your business plan, helping with making recommendations for a filing system, accounting software, kind of the whole works, everything that it takes to run your business. So I highly recommend checking out their website, which is www.score.org. I see Kathy got ahead of me there. Thanks, Kathy. They are a great partner, and you should definitely check them out. Another website, or I'm sorry, another organization that I recommend is Small Business Development Centers, also known as SBDCs. The SBA resource partner is through the SBA, and it's comprised of a network of centers throughout the U.S. The SBDCs provide a variety of business training, coaching, and counseling services. SBDC services also include assisting small businesses with financial, marketing, production, organization, engineering, and technical problems. The SBDCs also provides feasibility studies. All services given by SBDCs are free and confidential. Additional low-cost training options are available, and you can find an SBDC near you at their website, which is asbdc-us.org. And thanks, Kathy, for putting that in there. Another great resource are women's business centers, and a list of the SBA resource partner centers here can be found at their website. I'll just let Kathy, I think she's going to probably copy all their websites in there. So, yep. So won't read every single letter in there. But the mission of these centers is to level the playing field for women business owners. Approximately 100 education centers have been set up for women entrepreneurs. To locate a business center, go to the SBA Office of Women's Business Ownership, or you can go to their website, which might be quicker. Moving on to another resource is the Veterans Business Outreach Center. It's part of the SBDC. This is a list of, these can be found at the website Kathy's going to be copying there. These centers are formed by cooperative agreements between 16 organizations and provide business training, mentoring, and other services to veterans who currently own a small business or wish to start one. U.S. Export Assistance Centers, also known as USEACs. You can find a list of these at, again, there's a website, and the mission of these centers is to provide assistance to small businesses which are looking to export products overseas. And another resource, actually, I mean, maybe your bank. I know within Wintrust, we have a specialty group that helps businesses with overseas exporting. So, don't hesitate to reach out to your bank. You can maybe set up a call with the export group there to further discuss options. Accountants, of course, are another great resource. Most business owners need to meet with an accountant from time to time. You can meet with an accountant not only to learn about tax requirements for your business, but to get advice about setting up your accounting system properly. Accountants and their bookkeeping staff may be able to train you on how to use the software program you have chosen for your business. Many accountants offer bookkeeping services for a monthly fee, or you can simply pay for year-end tax preparation services. And then bookkeepers and consultants. Private consultants and bookkeepers are available to help you set up your bookkeeping system and train you on how to maintain your system. Get recommendations for bookkeepers by talking to successful businesses or an accountant or your banker. Maybe they know a bookkeeper. The most important thing, if you go to the next slide, is very simple. Start now. Just don't wait. If you're unsure of where to start or what to do, reach out to any of these resources that we've provided here. Talk to a mentor, talk to your banker, talk to another business owner, somebody that you trust. But just get started. Don't just let it build. So kind of just to wrap things up, if you go to the next slide, some of the key points to remember. Excuse me. As a small business owner, you will need to track a significant amount of information. No matter the type, size, or complexity of your business, establish and maintain a proper record-keeping system that is suited to your particular business needs. Regardless of whether you use a computer system, cloud-based computing, or a combination of these two, you will need to think about business software. There are many software products to help you keep records for your business. The most common uses of software products are for email, spreadsheets, and accounting. And then pick one record-keeping system or use a combination, but just start now. And then in summary, we have covered a lot of information today about record keeping. If anybody has any questions, we've got some time. Don't hesitate to to drop it in the chat box. We're happy to answer any questions that you might have right now. And then, if you can think of any, great, put them in there. But just to kind of wrap everything up, as a small business owner, you're going to need to track a significant amount of information. So just start now. I think that's if you get anything from this presentation, that's going to be the most important thing. And that's pretty much it. That's all we have. Really appreciate all the engagement here. Thank you everyone for attending. We're hoping to keep these presentations going with the BACP throughout the year. So please be on the lookout for another one. Thank you all for your time.
Yes, thank you so much. And Laureen, you posed a question in there regarding software that you could use. I just put in a comment there for top recommendations for solo users. So you could take a look at it. Some of them are paid for services, and I believe some of them are free. So just explore and see if any one of these options works for you. And again, thank you so much, and happy Halloween, everyone.
Thank you to today's presenters for this webinar. If you are part of the BACP Entrepreneur Certificate Program, your account will automatically be updated within 24 hours. Again, your account will update within 24 hours. To learn more about our upcoming webinar, please visit chicago.gov/BACP webinar. Today's webinar was recorded and will be available at youtube.com/Chicago BACP. Again, that's youtube.com/Chicago BACP. Thank you and have a great weekend.